Welcome back. Welcome back. You made Diamond K in here, of course. The Diamond K Show on Fire TV, onfire-tv.com. Thank you for tuning in and welcome. A lot of things that we have to dissect today on all social media. Of course, I am at the Diamond K Show. And so frequently we will post things on social media that make their way to the show. And this is one of those instances where we've shared something and I want to discuss it on the show. And, you know, I have the opportunity to get a lot of input from, you know, folks online. And there's a lady, she has this claim, and she says that it is embarrassing. She says that it's embarrassing to live with your mom at the age of 30. And, you know, I first of all, I don't agree with that, by the way, but a lot of folks had a lot of different things to say. We're going to dissect and get into some of that and talk about some of the thoughts that folks had on this subject, that it's embarrassing to live with your mom at the age of 30. And, you know, clearly a person said that's not that old, right? You can't be that old making a statement that ill-informed, ill-advised, just ill in general. Everybody has an opinion, and I get that. But what I like to do is dive in and get to the root of the opinion, understanding where somebody's coming from, trying to understand why somebody would say some of the things that they say. So if somebody says that it is embarrassing to live with your mom, live with your parents at the age of 30, I would first look into why did they say that? Why do they think that it's embarrassing? Why would they think that it would be embarrassing? Do they think that it's embarrassing because maybe you're doing things for your parents so you can't do things for them, right? Maybe they want you to, they want to have access to you that they feel like they can't have, or they want to do crazy things, and you live with your parents, and so, or your parents live with you, and they can't do that. So they don't have that ability. So then they're embarrassed. You know, they can't put up with it. Because I've heard, you know, some women say, and these are not the same thing, but I've heard some women say that they didn't have a problem with a man having more than one wife as long as he could take care of them all, right? But if he couldn't take care of them, then all of a sudden there's a problem, right? So let's say that this person living with their parents is able to do all the things that you may want him to do in a relationship, or she to do in a relationship, and they live with their parents. Is it still embarrassing, or is the embarrassment the result of them having limited funds, you know, due to whatever the circumstance is? And then you have to look at this. There are circumstances where it's not embarrassing at all. I don't think it's embarrassing. I think that many people, if they're fortunate enough to have their parents, and you go out in the world and you do things, you make mistakes, you take a setback. Many people are fortunate enough to have the stability of their parents and be able to call their parents and have a place to regroup. That's what home is about. That's what family is about. How strong is the family structure of somebody who says that it is embarrassing at a certain age to live with your parents? So that's what she said. And she claims that it is embarrassing. She says that living in your mama house at 30 is wild embarrassing. Wild embarrassing, she said. Now, many folks, including myself, have made decisions sometimes and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. Didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. And I needed to go back to my parents' house for a period of time. I don't find any embarrassment in it. I am fortunate and glad that I had that opportunity. And at different points in time, if my sisters needed to do that, they could have done that as well. And some of them did. And it's nothing embarrassing about that. So don't let, fellas and ladies, don't let people put this kind of nonsense in your head. Don't let people put this kind of nonsense in your head. But I want to look at some of these comments about this. And so we posted this on the social media at the Diamond K Show. And interesting, good Mr. 15 on Instagram said that that's a sign of the times. And, and I guess times are different. Fuzzy Lightfoot said that back in the old days, the woman stayed home until she got married. Absolutely true. This is one of my childhood friends, Reggie. And he is absolutely right. Back in the day, back in the day, a woman was there until she got married. Wasn't nothing embarrassing about that. Wasn't nothing crazy about that. What is so crazy about the family unit? Because usually when folks say that it's embarrassing, or usually you hear women say this about men, and he lived with his parents or his mom or his whatever, right? And they look at that in a certain kind of way. I do not look at it like that. And you also got to look at, because here's the thing, a lot of times people just lump stuff in one box, right? You may be in a situation where you are providing, and you hopefully everybody can do this, provide for your parent, and you have a place for them, right? Some people, everybody don't want to put their parent in a nursing home. Everybody can't. Some people don't want to. Some people's heard horror stories and they have a place provided at one time. The parent lived with them. You live with your parent when you were born, and then you go out in the world, and then they get older, and then you have your situation set up where so they can now come back and live with you. Oh, is that embarrassing? No, embarrassing is not doing that if you can. Some folks need that a reset opportunity. There are a lot of different things at play here. Let's go to Facebook for a second. Walter, DJ Smooth, shout out to DJ Smooth, says, but yet after COVID, no one questioned when it happened to people. That is a great point. That is a great point, because economic conditions can change everything, wipe the whole board. And then you need to pull your resources. But usually it is a black person that is saying this. And why am I saying that? Because sometimes we don't see the forest for the trees. DJ Smooth brought up a great point, and I've had these conversations with members of my family. Sometimes it makes more sense to pool your resources together, right? My brother Jay in Atlanta has always talked about pooling the resources together. We often have had this conversation where other races, they'll come to this country and they will grind it out. A lot of family members living in a dwelling. Bring other people over, tell you can save your money, and then you branch off and do your thing. But for some reason, us black people sometimes, we want to live above our means, or we're scared to take one step back to take two steps forward. DJ Smooth also says that on Facebook, some people don't have a family member to go home to. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So they want to judge people that have a family structure and say that is, in the words of this young lady on Instagram, wild embarrassing. Wild embarrassing. That's what she said. She said living with your family is wild embarrassing at a certain age. So she says at the age of 30. But like I said, it depends on the circumstances. My opinions. Mickey Bands on Instagram, and she used to be over here at Radio on Fire all the time. She says that, well, I am 33 and I moved back from out of state, and they didn't want me to go to any apartments. So they told me to save my money and find somewhere I really want. Not every situation is the same. Absolutely right. Like I said, every situation is different. We have to stop letting people create a narrative that has us living outside of our means. And what's wrong with spending that time with your family? Now, it doesn't mean you spend it every moment. That you need to go out and do something. You go somewhere else. You get an Airbnb. You get a hotel or whatever the situation is. Maybe you bring them to the house. Ooh, I don't know. I'm just saying that economically, in this climate, living in the same dwelling as your parents, for whatever the reason is, whether they living with you, whether you living with them, what is it better for you to be outside on the street? No. is that embarrassing? I mean, I don't know. It's just people say wild things. Veronica says that Veronica _A 4321 on Instagram says that this is disgraceful to say to certain people with generic and health conditions who struggle to provide for themselves, but it's difficult still. They're doing their best. I agree. Maybe somebody is not in a mental space or that they can do that, or a financial space, but they have family that is going to be able to help them out. I don't want people to feel less than when people talk crazy like this. And she is talking crazy. You know what I mean? She's talking crazy. Veronica continues that, and sometimes your parents will have their children messed up, and lit lives wondering why they struggle while you're trying your best. And I think that what she's trying to say is that sometimes you're not at that point, but to keep up with the Joneses or the and try to impress people, but you're not really at that point and you're struggling. Does it make sense if your parents are struggling and you're struggling, and maybe even another member of your family is struggling? If y'all pool your resources, you can help lift everybody up. And this is one of them instances where the tides rise all boats. You can pool your resources. Why is that crazy? Why is that embarrassing? It's not. It is not embarrassing, and it is not crazy. And it is a lot of folks that out there that just don't understand that. Now, Yo the comic on Instagram, she says it's very true, and she agrees. So Yo the comic on Instagram, she says that it is embarrassing to live with your parent after 30. I don't know why she says that. Why are you saying that, Yo? Oh, maybe she's trying to be funny. I don't know, because I don't know. She said she's a comic, but I don't think that's funny. And so she loves LB _ on Instagram says in response to Yo the comic, it really depends. If you're saving to get a house, then I don't see any issues. My kids will be more than welcome to come back home, but they have to have a plan. Sometimes you don't have a plan, right? Sometimes the plan that you thought you were following, it didn't work out. So now what? Are you going to leave your kids out in the street? No. So she loves LB _ She said that if her kids are in that situation, that they can come back home. And that's good. Shout out to her. That is good for her. I'm glad to hear that, because sometimes things don't work out the way you think they're going to work out. Somebody says that the economy is effed at the moment. So a lot of people have no choice. That is absolutely right. So if you have no choice, you trying to tell me that that's embarrassing? Jackie Robinson 05 on Instagram says that she's a lost cause. I agree with that. Sexy I Came 30 says that the way the economy is, ma'am, it is not. So they're saying that it is not embarrassing to do that. So I mean, we've got a few that think, that it's a bad thing. Sipping My Gin on Instagram says that I wouldn't say 30. If you're over 40, then that's an issue. How the economy is, I rather build with my man and be thankful he has a support system and we can work it out together. Absolutely. But what if you don't have a man, right? What if you don't have a significant other? What if you have had, some bad situations happen to you and economically you need to do that? That's embarrassing. What if you're 35, right? What if you're freshly divorced or lost a spouse? However that happens, there's a lot of circumstances And I really want to hammer this point because so many people look at social media. They look at, their friends and things that they think are happening. And you don't know what's going on in somebody's life. You just see what you see, right? And you may feel as though what you're going through is a bad thing. And it could be not what you want, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And so many people end up taking things too far because they think that their situation is exclusive to them. Other people be going through stuff too, but they get on social media and act a different way, and then you don't know. Sean Wilkins, 94 on Instagram says that I am taking care of my mom. She is blind. Right. And so Sean Wilkins is saying that her mother lived together, but she's taking care of it. That's embarrassing. No, what would be embarrassing is for her to not take care of her mom if she could. So, I don't want people to get too caught up on this social media thing. I don't want y'all to get too caught up on that. All right. So, Land over Lloyd says, unless you're taking care of her. So he's saying that the only way it's not embarrassing is if you're helping them. Sadie Lady on Instagram says that I'm 29 and living home with my parents. I'm blessed. And you are absolutely blessed. And I think that it is so good when you have the family unit in place. So many people that I know do not have those loved ones around, or they're in a different point in their life where as though they wish that was an opportunity that they could have. Sometimes it could have been rough growing up, right, with your parents. But when you get older, you get a better understanding. And you have that opportunity to kind of mend and grow and just expand in things and being an adult, understanding what they were going through. And maybe your parent wasn't the best communicator when you were younger, right? Just shut up, do it because I said so, right? Now you're older, you've had some experiences, you understand what's going on, and maybe you realize that a lot of the problems were related to financial things, economics. They were frustrated. And now you're working, they're working, and you're pooling your resources together. How is that embarrassing? That's not embarrassing. Mary the Baddest on Instagram says that I'd rather him live with his mama instead of a wife or girlfriend. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, and I think that's a great thing. So I love this topic, and folks have had so many thoughts on it. Promise to God said that unless you're taking care of her, I begged my mom to move in with me a lot. Lawrence says that she's right and wrong at the same time. That's interesting. She's right and wrong at the same time. So a lot of folks with a lot of thoughts on living with your parents at the age of 30. Let's go back. DJ Smooth says on Facebook, and last but true, remember the pastor had a mega church, and when the bad storm hit and he turned away people from the church who needed help, that's the embarrassing moment when these are people that give money to a church and get turned away. Absolutely right. Talking about Joel Osteen in Texas. Yes, that is truly embarrassing. And so I just want to hammer that point. Whatever your situation is, if you are fortunate enough to have your parents living and you have a situation where you're taking care of them, they're helping you take care of yourself. It is better for y'all to pool your resources together, whatever the situation is. If you are fortunate enough to be living in the home with your parents, and somebody is telling you that you are less than, or you are embarrassing, or should be embarrassed, or trying to force you to move out before you're ready, don't fall into that trap. That person is not for you. That person is not for you, and it is not embarrassing at all. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, of course, on Fire-TV, anywhere you get your podcast, just search The Diamond K Show. Of course, on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. We're going to do this. We're going to take a quick break. real quick, and we're going to come back and dive into some more topics. I got a lot more things that we need to talk about, and I need to get them off my chest. Welcome back. Your man Dominic K in here, of course. You can subscribe on youtube.com/DJ Dominic K. Of course, you need to get in touch with me. Very easy to do that. DJ Dominic K at gmail.com. And of course, on all social media, I am at the Diamond K Show. So we have so many things to talk about related to lifestyle and the such. But I definitely wanted to take a moment to talk about the Weeknd. The Weeknd, I guess about 4 years ago. So we were at the building on 25th Street at the time. We're in Windsor Mill now, but we are at the building on 25th. And for whatever reason, I've heard Weeknd songs, and so we're talking about 2018, right? I'd heard Weeknd songs before. The singer, and he'd sung on some hooks of some songs, but I hadn't really listened to any of his albums or really gone in depth with his music. He was always like a featured artist on stuff. So I had to take a drive to Atlanta, and I said, listen to this album. So I listened to one of the Weeknd's albums on the drive to Atlanta, and that's it. So I listened to the one album, then I listened to the next album, and by the time I got to Atlanta, I was a fan of the Weeknd. And so he's from Canada, as many of you know. And so the Weeknd has now surpassed everyone to become the most streamed male artist of the year on Spotify with over 106 million monthly listeners. So it appears right now that the Weeknd is the biggest in the game, right? He's the biggest in the game. The most streamed male artist on Spotify. So we posted this on social media, and to my surprise, there were a lot of people with thoughts on this, right? There were a lot of people with thoughts on this, and they weren't really feeling the Weeknd like that. Some people, now, of course, some people are going to just say something about anything, right? But I think that the Weeknd is a talented artist. And so you got some people that, he got that Michael Jackson thing going on. Clearly, Michael Jackson is an inspiration of the Weeknd. Clearly, like there is no denying that the Weeknd and many others are inspired by Michael Jackson, right? And so some people, want to talk about his I don't know, he does his falsetto, whatever. But I say that he's the biggest in the game right now on the male artist side. Kenny99 on Instagram says that I never heard anyone listen to the Weeknd. And what is he talking about? Like he says nobody listens to the Weeknd. Somebody else says that I don't even have a Weeknd song in my playlist. Cryptic World says that when you sound like a millennial Michael Jackson, this will most likely happen and probably should be sooner. Auntie Two Cutthroat says, who listens to him? Somebody else says, who cares for real? And somebody says, people feeling it. Yeah, they really are. They was really, really angry about this. Somebody else says, does this even matter to him? I think that it does matter to him that he is the most streamed artist currently. This obviously adds to sales, obviously adds to show price and price for features, etc. So yes, I think that it does matter to him. Somebody says that he came from being homeless, bro. I think so. This is Keith Booman on Instagram. And yes, if you listen to his songs, he is he my favorite R&B singer right now? He might be. Yeah, I think he is. Definitely. I think he is. Yeah, so he talks about that and a lot of other things. So I'm really happy for the Weeknd. As Kenny said, Weeknd went through a lot of stuff coming up, and it wasn't a easy ride for him. And he is definitely doing his own thing. I wish he had not gotten involved in the Kendrick Lamar Drake thing, but him and Drake have had some difficulties. So that can be I guess it makes sense when you look at it from that point. A couple more comments. Somebody says that how. Okay, so just because you don't listen to it, that means now you sound like Trump. If you didn't win, then that means it's stolen. If you don't listen to the artist, that means they ain't nothing. No. And somebody says that remember he's on Kendrick's side. All right, can't forget it because you ain't gonna let me forget it. Somebody says that I don't care. Chris Breezy is better. Now, Chris Brown will probably give a better show than The Weeknd, right? But I don't know. I don't know if how are we justifying who's better? How are we saying who's better? Somebody says that I don't even see the hype about him. All right, I didn't see the hype until I listened to the album On a Long Ride. Somebody says, how does he always become number one? Somebody says that YB just better. Okay. All right. YB is not better than The Weeknd. Somebody else says. See, now, a lot of times I don't even have to jump into stuff because people will just work it out. Somebody says, man, folks just say the goofiest stuff. And that is true. People will, you say left, some people are just going to say right just because you said it. That's what they want to do. Let me see. DJ Smooth says that we need to do one about the DJing world, how it's changed big time. It has absolutely changed. DJ Smooth, hit me up behind the scenes. We definitely I would love to have a conversation about that. The music scene, not just here in Baltimore, but just the music scene in general has absolutely changed. I'm not gonna even deny that. Now, some people will say that it's changed for the better. Some people may say that it has not changed for the better. Obviously, it seems like DJ Smooth feels like it has not changed for the better. And, that's I can understand how you might think that. You know what I mean? I can understand how you might think that. Of course, the Diamond K Show, I am here weekdays. You can subscribe to us on youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. Contact me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. So this next story, and as I said, we post things on social media at the Diamond K Show, and I like to give folks, thoughts on it, and then I give my thoughts on the show. But this next story, it just has me, it opened up the opportunity to have some other conversations. And this gentleman here says that he works 70 hours a week to pay all of his girlfriend's bills so she does not have to work. Now, on the face, real easy. We say he's being used, right? He's being used. Why would he work double just to pay his girlfriend's bills? He didn't say his wife, didn't say his kid's mother. She's completely able to work. And I wanted to know folks' thoughts on that. And, first of all, I mean, he could pay some of the bills. Like, she ain't gonna pay none of her bills. Now, he's a big guy, and she's a slim girl, right? So automatically folks are going to be saying, okay, she's using him. This ain't how it's supposed to be. And women, you're funny women. When you play what I call both sides in the middle, you sit on the fence, right? When it's convenient to be independent, you're independent. When you want a man to do something, the man's the provider. Can you please take out the trash? I ain't supposed to touch no snow. I ain't supposed to clean out my car. And then on other things, when the man says something, oh no, I'm independent. You can't tell me what to do, right? We need consistency, ladies. Can we get some consistency? Now, so this man says that he is working 70 hours a week to pay all of his girlfriend's bills. Now, many of y'all women like, yeah, as he should. That's what he's supposed to do. Blah, 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 blah. Brian with the lyrics on Instagram says that I don't want to be with anybody who is okay with me working 70 a week unless we are trying to get caught up. We need to dumb down some of these expenses. Yeah, frequently that's the case. People living beyond their means. We were just talking about that in the previous story. People living beyond their means, and and that's how you get that's how you get in these situations. Now, let's say something happens to this guy. Let's say that he's unable to work. Is she going to stay with him? Is she going to pick up the slack and is she going to start working? No. She is not. Fuzzy Lightfoot says that his size tells me he ain't working that hard. Dang, Reggie. What do you mean? His size tells you he ain't working that hard. You don't know what he's doing for work. He could be doing anything. Yeah, but I just think that it's interesting that folks don't have a problem. See, ladies don't have no problem with this. We talk about some of these stories, and ladies say this is embarrassing. Live with your parents is embarrassing. Oh, they don't think it's embarrassing if a guy is doing this. All right, they don't think that that's embarrassing. Now, if the guy is working, pay all your bills, does that mean that he has the utmost say so in the household? Does that mean that? Because you're like a dependent. Miss Newsom on Instagram says that been there. It's not. I'm sorry, this is not Miss Newsom. This is Newsom, this guy. He says, been there. It's not going to end well. I promise. And Ty says, would you do it? No, I would not. I would not work 70 hours so my girlfriend does not have to work. Unless is something wrong with her? Right? Does she have some type of an ailment? She ain't doing no work, right? So I'm a business owner, so she can't do no work for me. She can't be an employee of my company. She ain't doing no work. She ain't doing nothing. What is she doing all day? They don't have kids. What is she doing all day? No. If we try and get money, yeah, does that mean there could be a situation where I could find something for her to do around the house related to my business, right? She's still working. Maybe she don't want to leave the house and work. Okay, fine. Yeah, but I just think that it is so one-sided that we have these situations where the man has to do everything or else he ain't nothing. All right. DJ Don Corleone says that this guy is retarded. We don't say that word anymore, right? But I know what you mean. Somebody else says he's being used. Whole bunch of emojis. It ain't sipping if you got it, I guess. Somebody else says, okay, I wonder why. And sucker, they got sucker emojis. That's all good, but she still needs to work to have her own. Absolutely. Like I said, what if something happens to the gentleman? Then what you going to do? Somebody else says, got him. Oh, I like this one. I thought slavery was over. Of course, a lady's going to say, he loves her. Nothing more needs to be said. Then she gives it a thumbs up. Yeah, okay. He clearly loves her. But does she love him? That is the question. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, of course. Need to get in touch with me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. And on all social media, like I said, I am at The Diamond K Show. So you just take a quick break, and we'll come back with more of the show right after this. Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here, of course. You can support the Diamond K Show and On Fire TV via PayPal.me/Radio On Fire. On Cash App, it is $ The Diamond K Show. You can become a member today. OnFire-TV.com/join. So I love ice cream. All right, let me say that. I love ice cream. So this story was scary to me. But there are ice cream products from multiple brands that are being recalled due to potential listeria. Listeria. All right. Doesn't sound good, right? But a major ice cream producer has recalled products sold by multiple brands due to this potential listeria contamination. And this is according to the Food and Drug Administration. So all those Republicans are going to say, "Oh, we can't listen to the FDA." I bet you're going to listen to this. I bet you're going to listen to this. Republican Trump voters, I bet y'all going to listen to the FDA now, because the manufacturer, which is Totally Cool Inc. of Owings Mills, Maryland, has recalled products from more than a dozen brands, a dozen ice cream brands in the beginning of summer. We need to pay attention to this. So this includes brands like Friendly's, Hershey's Ice Cream, Jenny's, and the Frozen Farmer. This is due to a possible health risk. Ice cream brands, as I said, no illnesses have been reported as of yet, but the FDA says that it is on alert, and they said that Monday. Totally Cool Inc. has ceased the production and distribution of the affected products due to the FDA sampling, which discovered the presence of some bad stuff. The company continues its investigation, is taking over and starting some preventative actions. No other products produced by Totally Cool Inc. have been impacted in this recall, so just some ice creams. So that could be scary. That could be the beginning of summer. You know what I'm saying? And so it is the company that is said that it will begin making pints of 2 flavors at its own factory immediately because they are concerned. And Crave Better Foods says that it received a report about this possible health issue on the production line, which is used to make frozen ice cream cakes. I love ice cream cakes. So listeria can cause very serious, sometimes fatal infections in young children, frail or elderly people, and others with a weakened immune system. And so the FDA is worried about this. Some symptoms of listeria infection include a high fever, severe headache, stiffness, nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. According to the FDA, listeria infection can cause miscarriages and stillbirth among pregnant women. So this is a serious issue, especially going into the summer. I mean, we're in the top of the summer. This is the prime time for ice cream. I was going to get some ice cream before I realized that we were doing this story. Now I may just fall back. Of course, the Diamond K Show, I will be here weekdays. And anytime you need to get in touch with me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. djdiamondk@gmail.com. So tomorrow is the first presidential debate between Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump of this campaign cycle. We saw them debate in 2020. Now, tomorrow they're going to debate, and it's much earlier than it normally is, right? This is June. Election's not till November. Normally the debates are in September, but they're trying to get this out the way early. Both of these guys are up there in years. Both of them are older. Now, what do you remember from Joe Biden and Donald Trump's first debate 4 years ago? There were a lot of interruptions, talking over each other. Come on, man. And just lying from Trump, and Biden trying to get a word in, Chris Wallace being the moderator at different times. And there's different ones. But at this time, we have different rules. There are going to be no audience present. They're going to turn the mics up and down depending on who's talking. See how that works out. So you have this matchup. We are going to be watching to see who holds up better. Both of these guys are old. No, there are no spring chickens in this debate. That's for sure. So they have these new rules, which are interesting. Now, what version of these guys are we going to get? Trump has been erratic at times. He's been subdued at times. Biden has been somewhat excited and, stiff and kind of monotone at other times. The Trump campaign is accusing Biden of being on drugs. What drugs help you through debates? I don't know. Because last week they were saying that he couldn't remember anything and that he was, too old to compete. Now they're saying, oh, he's going to do a good job. He's on drugs or I don't know. But Trump drinks a lot of sodas. I think they say Diet Coke. Biden likes, I'm sure what he likes. He drinks whatever. And energy drink. I don't know if you've taken an energy drink before, but they don't necessarily help you do good debating. Are they giving them the stuff that Ryan Garcia had, and they think, oh no, it's a disqualification? I never even heard of drug testing for a debate. But when you hear the Donald Trump campaign talking about drug testing for a debate, it's projection. It means that you need to be drug testing Donald Trump. But he tries to project it and put it on somebody else. And if either one of them takes a drug, is that going to really help them? Let's say that Snoop Dogg is having a debate and he smokes a whole lot of weed before the debate. Do you think that weed's going to help him do better in the debate? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Donald Trump is scared and nervous talking about all the stuff he said before about Joe Biden not being able to put words together, remember stuff. You know what I mean? Now his supporters are saying, oh, Joe Biden's going to do a great job because they're going to have him on drugs. They got these excuses built in. Trump can't lose the election because if he loses it, then that means somebody cheated. No, it doesn't. And these so-called smart people that don't understand how elections work, it is mind-blowing. There's been plenty of times where you get the vote in and it comes from a precinct and then you have another precinct and the votes come in and you count them and then the pendulum shifts and now the other candidate's in charge. And then they go to another county and then this one's in the lead. It happens. It happens. And polling is a sample. I don't really put too much emphasis on polling because it's just how you feel at the moment and whether you want to tell them the truth or not. Right? I have been called by a pollster and I was feeling, pretty good this particular day. And I just was humoring her with the conversation that I was having. And I was just saying things that I thought were funny. I would say half of what I said were my actual thoughts and the other half, I was just entertaining myself like I do when I get these spam calls. I get spam calls all the time. I'll entertain myself by saying craziness. Right? And sometimes they'll just get frustrated and hang up the phone. And spam callers. And some people may treat pollsters like I treat spam callers. Because I guess technically the pollster is a spam caller. Right? You didn't say, hey, can a pollster call me? No, they just randomly call you and they're spam. Like the people that are trying to sell you stuff, try to get your credit cards, tell them anything. And then the weird thing, they pay these people all this money to do polling, right? And then there's no telling that the information that they get back is true. So then they do these things called focus groups. And they'll sit down, a group of people, maybe it's 12 people, sit them in a room, and they'll come from different backgrounds and they'll talk. They'll say this and they'll say that. And maybe what they're saying is true. But usually those focus groups are small groups and they will overemphasize the thoughts and feelings of the small group. And then they'll take that. And it's a hustle. It's a hustle. They do it. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But whatever. Don't put too much emphasis on a poll. Pause. Right? But anyway, the debate is going to be tomorrow. We are going to be on air tomorrow, just before the debate. So we're going to go on air at 8:00 tomorrow. Debate is at 9. So we're going to do the show. We're going to do the pre-show, talk about the debate. that is going to happen. Then we're going to watch the debate. Then after the debate is over, the debate's going to be about 90 minutes. After the debate is over, then we are going to react to what we saw. So tomorrow's going to be a extended broadcast. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think that Biden or Trump are good debaters, but I do think that Biden is a better debater than Trump. And when Biden was younger, he did better. I've seen him in the debate with Sarah Palin. Remember, she said, "Can I call you Joe?" It's weird. Anyway, I saw him in the debate with Paul Ryan. I've seen him debate before. And we've seen Trump in, what you call the 2016 primaries. And that was interesting. He psyched out all of those Republicans. And we saw him against Hillary Clinton. You would talk about somebody being on drugs. You want to drug test somebody. Maybe you should have drug tested Donald Trump back then. I don't know. And we saw Joe Biden and Donald Trump in 2020 during the pandemic. And Biden is more focused. He is obviously preparing. Donald Trump is not preparing. He can't remember facts, dates, places, none of that stuff. He's just going to go from the cuff. I think that it's going to be entertaining tomorrow. I think it's going to be a spectacle, and we are going to be here for it. So as I said, the pre-show is going to start at 8 p.m. We're going to talk about the upcoming debate and some other news stories. And then at 9 p.m., we're going to go into the debate. We're going to watch the debate, 90 minutes. The debate is being hosted by CNN, and it's going to emanate from Atlanta. And Jake Tapper and Dana Bash are going to be the moderators. This is going to be interesting. They are seasoned journalists, and they should be able to handle this. I think that a big part of it is going to be not having that studio audience there, but a lot of millions and millions of folks watching live. It is going to be interesting. So after the debate starts, 90 minutes, we're going to be, watching that. And 90 minutes later, we're going to come back and give reactions in real time to the debate between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. We have not had this situation in over 100 years where you have the former occupant of the office trying to get the office and debating the current incumbent. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So this is going down tomorrow. President Biden and former President Trump set to meet on this debate stage, and we are here for it. It's coming from Atlanta, but we're going to be watching it here, and CNN's got a good get with that. So looking forward to it. Of course, the Diamond K Show on anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, etc., iHeartRadio. Just search the Diamond K Show. You can become a member at onfire-tv.com/join. We get exclusive and extra content. YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. I have mixes. I have music. We also have the podcast and other podcasts. You can get in touch with me, booking info, business info, DJ Diamond K at gmail.com. And of course, you can support the Diamond K Show and On Fire TV via paypal.me/radio on fire. On Cash App, I am $the Diamond K Show. And I'll be back here tomorrow, as I said, for the debate analysis and reaction. It is going to be fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Visit OnFireTV.com for live top stories, breaking news, and original shows.